everybody. We're at Park Inn by Radisson. It's beautiful out here. The weather is a little crisp, but it's still warm. And today's conversation is all about creating a strong brand identity. In this day and age, it doesn't matter whether you own a business or not. You yourself, you are a brand, ladies and gentlemen. Let me break it down to you. And so there are some do's and some don'ts. And that's why we have an expert in the building. Her name is Eunice Nyandat, and 10 years ago she started My Biz Marketer, which is an advertising agency. Started it in the States, and now she's here, been here for about 2 years now. Welcome.
Thank you.
Eunice.
Thank you for having me.
No, our absolute pleasure. She just confessed that this is her first interview. Really excited that we get to. Yeah.
Yes.
No, but it'll be a breeze. We're talking about something that you love and you do all the time.
Absolutely.
So let's just even start with the basics. Why is it important for a brand, for a company rather, to create and to have a strong brand? Why is it vital for them?
Think about what Coca-Cola has done, right? Now everybody knows Coca-Cola, whether they're the high or 90-year-old knows about Coca-Cola, right? They've built a strong brand. What companies should try to achieve, not the Coca-Cola level, because it may not be achievable for your particular brand, is an identity people can identify with. Give them that personality or the voice that people can like about you, the brand, not the person, the brand. So that then them talking about you to other people is easier. It's easy to talk about, I bought blah 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 shoes from brandshoesstore.com, right? That kind of thing. Make it easier. It helps personalize something that is not human, giving it a personality and a voice.
And is it true to say that even when you're not actively working to create a strong brand, you ultimately, whatever it is that you're doing on a daily basis, that does become your brand, and it can either be good or bad?
Absolutely. Think about this. Oprah. She didn't start out to be this mogul, right? And her identity, being authentic, being true, being a teacher, grew over time and built her brand, right? So that everything you do in your everyday life has to be towards building that brand. So anything you do, if I'm a personality and I'm about helping children, every activity I do that amplifies or amplifies and empowers children is going towards building my brand, right? Absolutely.
Okay, so you've talked about time, like giving it time. Is there a time frame? Like if I was at this moment in time to start something, how long would it take before I could say that it's a strong brand? Or what does it take to create a strong brand?
So when you start hearing people talking about your brand as the brand, that Oprah, then you've got something. So you start, you gotta start somewhere, right? So the everyday things you do, and then using the platforms that we now have today, make it actually easier, so you don't have to take the length of Oprah time, right? Remember, she was on TV, which is one way. So you consumed at a certain time. So it wasn't at your schedule, it was at her schedule, right? Now you can consume her at any time. So amplifying her brand just multiplied gazillion times, right? So now you can do it a lot faster than the old brands, right?
Okay, right, that's true. Okay, so let's talk about that. What are those steps? What are those things that are available to us now that can help us create strong brands?
So back in the day, we had print, TV, radio. You scheduled, and if your brand buyer wasn't on TV at 9 o'clock and you are on an interview at 9 o'clock, they missed that. You missed that. Now we have the social media platforms. Platform for many to many, scheduled and consumed at whatever time. If you're 2 a.m. and you're listening to your favorite makeup person do a makeup video because you've got an interview this morning, there you go. You're consuming that brand that you follow at your preferred time, right? So you've got all these platforms that I fear that our brands in Kenya aren't even trying to maximize on, because they have good products, they have good services, but they're not out there. Their voices are not being heard, right? So we have the social media platforms like the Instagram, the YouTubes. that is a channel for all.
Right.
If you couldn't get a TV show, create one on YouTube.
Right, exactly. And it's, I mean, it's being consumed almost at the same rate as a lot of what's on TV right now.
Yes.
So let's talk about that, like social media and how companies, you know, could use that platform. Because I think it can be daunting. You know, it's also, it's a great way for you to talk about your brand, but it's also a way for people to have access and talk to you and tell you what you're doing wrong. And so,
but you want that though.
So, okay, so then how should companies go about navigating this social media space?
So you're brand new company, first create that voice. What do you want to be known for?
Okay, right.
How do you want to be seen?
Uh-huh.
What do you want to be associated with?
Okay.
And then identify those platforms where your tribe lives.
Okay.
If your tribe lives on Instagram, then you want to do Instagram. If your tribe lives on YouTube or Twitter, choose the platform wisely. It's not for all. And you're not being asked to be on all because you don't have to be on all because every channel has its strength, right? So if you're not choosing the strength, the channel that fits the strength, that matches your tribe, meaning if I was buying shoes, where do you think I should live? YouTube or Instagram. There you go. Now I could do a commercial on YouTube that leads to Instagram, right? So you live there. And I always say, own the platforms first. So the website is the first place because that's yours. If Instagram went bye-bye today, bye-bye your brand if it only lives on Instagram, right? So begin by an asset that you own, a channel that's yours, that's your website, right? And then diversify with those other, those sprinkle back to the website, bring your audience back to your website.
So start with the website, identify a platform that your tribe is in, and then I guess start the conversation. But when it comes to that, how much freedom does a company have to create a personality or a voice that's unique? Because, you know, to which extent can they be fun in themselves versus be a company? We're talking about burgers today.
It's all about the brand personality. Look at what Coke does. There's serious stuff that Coke does, and there's fun stuff that Coke does, right? I'm going back to Coke because it actually approached every platform and tries to trickle everywhere because its audience is everywhere. It's a little kids, so it can be on YouTube. It's on, you know, the teenagers or the youth. So it can play on any platform right now. But remember what your brand is. We're selling shoes, say for example, right? And our buyers are 20-something women, right? Where do they live? So Instagram, right? So we play and we want to decide how do we want our tribe to perceive us? Are we part the serious woman? And then what's the fun side of the serious woman? So we bring that out, right? But it's our brand dictates and drives the conversation because there will be a time where the brand is controlled by the tribe.
What do you mean by that?
I mean this. For example, something goes wrong, right? And one little, say, customer service issue that really the brand had anticipated. And because we are many to many now, I can tell all my girlfriends, listen, I bought shoes from them and they didn't take care of me, right? The shoes were one size wrong or whatever. And now I'm this influencer person that is blogging about the brand. It may then take over what the brand communications are in that what do you decide as a brand to do, right? So the clever brands will be maximize on this wave of it may appear as negative but turning it into positive, right? So if you let it live there, not addressed, so it's been taken over. So now one brand perception was driven by one influencer or one hot mama there going, I didn't like their shoes, and so that's it.
That is so, you know, it takes me back. I don't know if you've heard about the Fire Festival, but it's this festival that was set up and it sort of just ended up being a huge scam. But then to build up the festival, they used all these big names, these big models, and it was like huge. And it, you know, they were trying to create this like beautiful, like dreamy island vibe, and it worked. And a lot of people were buying tickets. But what brought it tumbling down was this one kid with a couple thousand followers, not that many, and a picture that he posted of a sandwich that was so bleh, and that brought everything tumbling down. I mean, there's a lot more wrong about the festival, but it speaks to what you're saying.
Exactly.
That one person.
Yeah, one
and
person.
if you don't address it.
And by the way, don't go address it under the covers.
Right.
Be transparent. Take it head on, because that becomes a teachable moment, because the next lady buying shoes from you will either buy with confidence that if something's wrong with the shoes they send me, they'll take care of me.
Right.
So I see brands going under the covers, and my biggest advice is do not take the conversation undercover. This is the time for you to shine. Own it, run with it.
I hear you, and that's exactly what they did, because the festival was a big flop, and people were complaining, but it took so long for them to address those issues. And instead, all these other pictures of what was going wrong with the festival started coming up, and they still weren't saying anything.
And maybe there were even good parts about it, and they got drowned out by that.
Yeah.
So
well, that festival was just all bad, but
you never know. There could have been 2-3 pictures of a good sandwich. I don't know.
Yeah, but they didn't maximize on that.
Exactly.
That's a big one.
Yes,
that's a big one.
Absolutely.
So we've talked a lot about like product branding and corporate. Let me ask, how different is it if you've got a personal brand and you're trying to navigate social media specifically?
Same rules apply.
Same rules
apply.
Okay.
So you've got a troll. You're a personal brand.
Yeah.
Fitness, and you've got this great product and you believe in it, but then you've got this troll that comes over and says all manner of things. And I listened to all Kenyan YouTubers complaining about the ugliness that is out there. There's some to be addressed, of course, because some of them is personal. You do not want to then air your personal stuff on those channels. But if it's something legitimately towards your brand, that is towards your product, address it, talk about it. If somebody didn't like the experience, then talk to them about how would they want to experience this, right? So that then that way the people coming after, because of course everybody's going to talk about that thing that happened and you didn't address it, it amplifies it, and because you're not shedding any light, you're not shining the light on it, that brews into something that you didn't anticipate it to brew to, right? So if anything, transparency helps you. It's the cure-all.
Interesting. So again, it's not to say that every single troll that comes and is attacking your brand, your personal brand, not every single troll, but if it's something that might speak true to either who you are or what you want for that space, then it's probably best to say, hey, actually, you've got a point there. What would you like to see more of? Or maybe even explain like, oh, you see, this is what this space is about, or this is what I'm about.
Yes, you're being given an opportunity to clarify and expound your brand.
Right. So not to see it as an attack, but an opportunity to clarify your brand. Okay. Woo! So much I've learned in just like a couple of minutes. So how do you then make your brand stand out in a space where there's everybody on social media? There's everybody with access to all these different brands and individuals and products. How do you make your brand stand out? You
have a tribe. If you go into it believing you have a tribe, you're making content for that tribe. Not everybody, that tribe. The mistake we make is going out, and I call this spraying and praying. Oh my God, boom, there's a video. Let's hope somebody's coming, look, 3 views, that's bad, right? But no. Who's your tribe? Tell them your videos on there. It's not everybody. So we're selling shoes today, right? And 20-something to 30-something women love these heels. We're going to call them the 6-inch heels. So there's a 6-inch heel shoe stop, right? So if you know that, maybe there's some 30 and 40 and 50-something women wearing these heels, those will be the gravy coming in. But your target market is that exciting woman who wants to wear the 6-inch heel because it makes us take that, right? You talk to them. Never mind the 30s, the 40s and something. You talk to your tribe, because your tribe is going to be the one who's going to be there for you for the long haul. The 30 or 40 somethings may go on to wear kitten heels, right? You talk to that market, and there will be new ones coming in every offer. So if you focus on that tribe, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. That's your tribe, speak to it.
Lovely, I love that. Know your tribe, understand them, speak to them. Okay, we've got to take a quick break. We'll be right back in a moment. Welcome back, everybody. We've been talking about branding, and we're here at Park-In by Radisson. I've got Eunice here, who's been doing and teaching and talking about marketing to brands for a long time now. So she's been guiding us and giving us tips on how to create a strong brand. Now, what are the different elements that make up your brand? What is it that goes towards building your brand?
I'll tell you what it's not.
Okay.
It's not the logo.
Oh, it's not a logo?
No, it's not the logo.
Okay.
It's the brand personality and the voice. So for example, my biz marketer is a dynamic, techie, vibrant, savvy brand, right? Think of yourself. You have, remember back in the day when Beyonce had talked about this thing, having an alter ego,
Sasha Fierce,
yes, Sasha Fierce. Yeah. So she still portrays that. That's her brand, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta find what that is of the brand. For example, Mydawa, right?
Okay. Yeah.
They've come out.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And got people buying prescriptions, buying products online.
Right.
They're communicative.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah.
They're exciting. They don't take themselves too seriously, or without being too obnoxious. They are relatable, right? So that's what goes into creating a brand.
So all this time that we spend creating logos and trying to find the right color palettes, instead we should be focusing on understanding and defining our voice.
Yes,
and
the brand voice, exactly. So logo is something you slap on there that people can easily point to Coca-Cola.
Okay.
You've picked it, really you picked it well. You pick it well, you design it. But some of them don't even make sense, like the Nike swipe. Does that make sense, right?
No, for sure it doesn't make sense it doesn't, to just have that, but it still, it works.
But like it helps you recognize Nike. Yeah. That's all it does.
Right, but if I think actually about like what Nike is, I don't think necessarily the tick. I just think you're about sportsmanship. You're about being the best. You're being the top of the game.
There you go.
And it makes me someone who's not like I'm not you know, Serena Williams,
Yeah.
but I still want to own a pair of Nikes because I want to be part of the crew.
That's
Because of the
how you
voice.
build your brand.
Okay.
You pick those things about the brand that speaks to the tribe. And Nike tribe is, as you know, is sportsmen.
Yeah.
Those people that just want to do it,
Yeah.
right? Just go ahead and do it, right?
Right.
So yeah, you sit down with your team or even a brand expert to help you hone in what those characters of your brand is. And sometimes it's something somebody tells you, you didn't think yourself as smart and savvy and all that, and somebody says, this is how I perceive you. And then sometimes the way the brand is perceived by the tribe doesn't even match up to the way the brand speaks of itself, right?
Okay.
You see, so there's a mismatch, and they need to now go out to the market and figure out how other people see them as.
Okay.
Right?
So let's talk about that.
Yes.
What happens, or how do you go about it if you want to have a reboot or you need to change? Maybe when you feel that for the longest time you've been, you know, a luxury brand, but you're thinking of changing it to be a little bit more accessible,
Right.
or vice versa.
Yes.
How do you go about redefining that space?
So you go to market, you go find out what the market thinks, and you might find that you, the luxury brand, had no business going selling this other brand, because the minute you start to sell entry-level stuff, that tribe that you built of luxury suddenly goes away. Right?
But what if that's their strategy?
But
it's
if
like a
that's-
management overhaul, and they just are like, okay, we're done with this side of things, we want to do this.
So then you want to go see this tribe that you want to now address. Will they perceive you right? Will they always see the luxury that you always were? Right? And that now you have to now build towards getting them convinced that you're not about luxury. So then it would go towards either having complete rebrand, do away with what was luxury, and say, for example, the lady selling the 6-inch heels wants to sell kitten heels. Maybe opening another branch, another business that keeps this one intact and goes to just sell the kitten heels, because that brand is its own tribe, has its own people, and once you try to divert or exit out of this to that, might be a challenge. It is always a challenge.
So how different is it if we're talking about a personal brand, and maybe what they've come through is a scandal of sorts, and they want to rebuild? Because in this day and age, it feels like in a matter of seconds, you can go from being top of the world to something is leaked, story is out, and it's, well, are you done for? Is it over? So can you rebuild? How do you rebuild for a personal brand?
Here's the thing. When you're a personal brand and you have things about you that you really know you shouldn't be out there, manage always, because that will break your brand. If it does, then it's what you do right off the gate. Time will kill you. You address almost instantly, the next day come out and talk about it. And if you did something and not kosher, apologize and pull to the attention what you're about to do, how you're going to be different, and then keep hammering that is forgotten. It's those that let time hang around, lest the negative fester, and then it takes a life of its own, because the tribe doesn't know any better. They'll just continue telling the story that it is what is out there. You don't give them another story to tell, they're going to tell the bad or constantly. So you have to give them something to tell.
That's so interesting. I mean, if we go back to the example of, say, Beyonce, who released the album, and her album was about, at the time we were all like, wait, is she talking about her husband cheating on her? We're like, what's going on? But she never once addressed it. There's even like a going back to Beyonce again, because I think in terms of branding and personal branding, she's just this unicorn that doesn't say much, but still has a following that's just, mind-blowing. So she had this incident with her sister in an elevator with the husband. Never once did she say, hey guys, we're okay, we're fine.
Yeah.
But now that I think about it, a few days later, they did take a picture with the family. It was the husband, the sister, the mother, and her.
It could be a strategy too.
Yeah.
So guys, I know your secret, right?
Right.
How do I let it be known that I know without addressing it?
Okay.
So there are ways to leak stuff, and these guys are brilliant at it. They have got managers who help them sort this stuff out, right? So they're putting it out there. I know with this and I'm dealing with this, right? And then I'll put something else to show you I'm dealing with it. So it's the imagery that comes with not letting that sit out there too long. Let me show you, I know this, but I'm dealing with this.
Right. So it's not, you don't have to always address it front on and be like, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I've gathered you here today to address
Exactly.
ABCD.
Press conference, the whole
You
night.
don't have to do that.
No.
But in your own way.
It's actions, stuff you did, positioning yourself, children's home, feeding the kids. So there's always something you could do that's in line with you, who you are as a personal brand, that continues then saying, I know there's this hiccup, everybody has them, but life goes on and this is what I'm doing.
Right.
This is the story to tell.
Okay. Okay.
And you notice some personalities and celebrities will drown out the bad with this and that. They were seen here, they were seen with this one, they were seen with that one. All manner of activities to try and bring the news cycle down.
Right.
Right? So what's on social now starts to be dumped down and be dumped on by some of the good stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
It doesn't completely take away, because all they have to do is Google Beyonce's cheating husband and that stuff comes up.
Right.
But then what's been done after helps kind of mask and solidify.
I hear you. I hear you. Wow, interesting. So we've talked a lot about social media for both corporates and individuals. Is there a place for people who aren't keen on social media, who don't understand it, don't like it, to still be able to build a brand? Is that possible in 2019?
It's going to take longer.
Okay.
If you want to sell shoes every day, you got to get out on social media. If you want a brand to stick, you have a startup and you have this brilliant idea, you've got this new gadget that does this. How do people get to know about it? How does your tribe get to know about it? They'll look for you on social and they'll find you. So what happens if it's a message you're creating, in that if they don't find you there, then you kind of don't exist. What's the first thing people do? They hear about something, they go Google, right?
Yeah. And is it enough to say, well, I have a website and you can see the advert on the papers or something? Is that enough?
So these platforms aggregate the tribes for you. So using them is kind of foolish. Not using them is kind of foolish, right? Because by the time somebody learns about your website, it takes your mom, your sisters, your brothers, and your family trying to telling their friends and their friends telling your friends, and that will take forever to do, because what if I forget today to tell my friends about your nice gadget you've produced, right? Now, if I post it on social media, what happens? 10,000 people get to see it. Maybe 1,000 people get to see it. Maybe 100 people get to see it. And the ripple effect from that is brilliant. You've thrown a pebble in the pond, and that ripple just keeps growing and growing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the dangers of social media?
Not managing it and giving it to an intern to manage it, who has no understanding of the brand or the business.
Okay. Giving it to an intern to manage it,
yes.
who has no understanding.
Do not give it.
So I guess part of your corporate structures have to make sure that everyone is aligned with what your values are, what your voice is.
Yes, what your goals are.
What your goals are.
What your goals are. If your goals are to get sales, right? And we've put this ad and social posting, and we're looking for conversion. That ad, remember the Chandaria incident, where something was put out there, we're trying to get some type of customer in the door. Right? Well, should I say any more? No. So that's when you give somebody who understands what you're trying to do. There are tactful ways. I'm not saying this is not done in Kenya. It's still done. There are tactful ways to do it. And when you don't you give this task to somebody who doesn't understand how to do things, that's what happens. This is what happens. So yes, not monitoring, because stuff gets said on there. For example, you get a complaint. You're a bank and you get a complaint and you don't address it. people go on to the Facebook page and they're seeing complaint after complaint after complaint, and nobody's talking on there, right?
Yeah.
What is the perception of that brand?
Yeah.
The perception is they don't care about their customers. So why would I want to bank with you?
Yeah.
If you don't care about the customers. Now another bank would be on there talking all day long,
having
engaging.
conversation.
Yes.
So you said another thing is not managing social
Exactly.
media. So when not managing then means responding. Or
Managing means
yeah.
observing to maintain your brand reputation, maintaining so whatever is said about your brand.
Okay.
Have a Google alert.
Yeah.
I'm at Eunice. If anything is said about Eunice and that, I get an alert, right?
Okay.
If you're the bank,
Yeah.
anything said at the bank, you get an alert. That's managing your brand so that you do not miss in any conversations of something being said about you, that you get the opportunity to fix it or amplify it, because it could be a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, constant management means that you're giving customer service,
Yeah.
and you're also taking the time to educate. It's a platform to educate too,
Yeah.
entertain as well,
Yeah.
right? So you're engaging the tribe every day on that platform.
Okay.
So you don't just create it and forget about it.
Right.
Don't create it if you're not going to do anything about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
There's a saying, all press is good press, or something like that.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Even bad press is good. Like, what are your
This is
thoughts
the
on that?
spin that comes from that. In that, it gives you an opportunity then to say, hey, Miss Socialite, I misbehaved, but
Yeah.
I'm going to change my ways. Now you get, somebody's right now getting the press that they do not need, but I think they like it, right? So it could be your way of getting attention, good or bad. But if you're getting bad and that's not your intention, take that opportunity to then, hey, get on that press and say, listen, I think you got this wrong. This is what I am about. And yeah, I may have goofed here, and that was a moment of weakness, of this or that or the other. It helps you then create a new conversation, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually more optimizing on that bad press. That is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa, this has been incredible, and the way that you've been able to unpack it and make it so clear that in 2019, in this day and age, you've got to have some kind of presence on social media.
got to.
Doesn't have to be all, like you said.
It doesn't.
But find a place, find a platform,
Absolutely.
find your tribe,
Yes.
find your voice.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much, Eunice. It's been incredible. We've got more lined up for you. In fact, we're going to have testimonials from people who've been on social media and used it to help build their brand. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everybody. Today's show has been all about branding. How do you create a brand? How do you navigate it in this day and age where social media plays such a big role? And for this last part, I've got two people here who started businesses, and they say that social media and creating a brand has been a big part of their work and how they've been able to build strong businesses. So welcome to the show. We've got Vincent Milewa, and we've also got Grace Wambere. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So where do we start? Maybe we could start with you, Vincent, and you could tell us about Rafu Books, which you started as an online platform, an online business?
I think we can call it a little bit of a paradox. It's an online business that promotes hard copy books only. So we don't promote online reading, but we use online platforms to promote a reading culture, as our mantra goes. We are out to promote a reading culture. Basically, it started off last year in December, and the idea 2018 in December. The idea came about because I finally got my reading up to scratch. I read about 47 books last year.
What?
So yes, 47 books.
You read 47 books
last year. So while I was,
I almost just feel like we should change this, and I just want to understand how. That means you read how many books? 3 books?
There are times I was doing 3 books a week, but there are times I could take longer.
So on average, it was about 4 books a month.
Yes, average.
About 4 books.
There are months I did more. There are months I did less. But yeah.
And actual, like, not audiobooks?
Actual hard copy books, yes.
Okay, so in December you decide you're going to start?
No, I decided earlier. So around June last year when I got my reading into scratch, around June I decided, look, you can't really buy all these books. So I tried to get used books. Initially, I thought of starting a platform just for used books. But the more I walked around and looked at the bookstores, there's quite limited bookstores in Nairobi. And the whole convenience of getting the right book at the right place becomes very difficult. So I thought, and I'm lazy, yes. So I thought, why there's no online shop that I can just buy and it's brought to my home. So that whole idea of I need cheap books, I need convenience, I need all this put together and brought to where I am, then all melted together into what is now Rafu Books. Because then I called a friend of mine. I've been in tech for many years. He's in tech as well, and he's very good in research. So I asked him, do you actually realize there's no proper online bookshop in Kenya? And I thought, let me check. So it took about 2 days and came back to me and he was baffled. Seriously, there is no online shop that is proper, as in that can get you all the various genres of books in one place and brought to your office or home at your convenience. So we started off developing it with some Indians, a platform with some Indians. It didn't really work out. So eventually we launched it in December and then relaunched it in January because the site that was developed by the Indian guys was not quite quite good. But the one that we have now is perfect. And our primary way of pushing it out is through social media. So
look at that.
Twitter, Instagram, and
Facebook. So interesting.
And the traction has been amazing.
Oh, good. And we're going to get into that in just a second. But Grace, why don't you tell us about your business? You started that in 2013, isn't it? Yeah. So tell me about it.
Actually, I started very small.
Okay.
Just
and this is Mtumba Chap Chap.
Mtumba Chap Chap, yes. Okay. It was just a small store. I'll go pick up my clothes from Gikomba, had picked, take photos, post online. Then at some point, people started asking, how do you go to Gikomba? How do you even source these? How do you manage? Because everyone tells you if you go to Gikomba, you'll be robbed, you'll be conned. If you open up a bale, for example, that bundle of bales, you'll only get the matambaras, that's the term they use. So I started something special, that is Mitumba Chap Chap, to create awareness, to try to teach people it's not about being conned. Actually, you can open a bale and having studied in Germany, I had a lot of experience. I had learned about warehouses, because we used to go to warehouses and shop there, where you get clothes weighed in kgs, you buy at €1.
Oh.
Exactly, yes, in Germany, yes.
Wow, okay.
Because you see, after summer, for example, if summer is over, it's over till next year. So whatever remains in the shops, it's taken to a warehouse and they sell them at a throwaway price. And that's how we get these bales now here in Kenya. So I started that thing of also mentoring people, trying to tell them, you know what, with Mitumba, you can only go with 2K or even 1,000 bob. You pick clothes at 50 bob and you resell and make your profit. And it's been a wonderful movement. So I'm selling and mentoring at the same time. And I can say it's been successful because I'm supplying East Africa at the moment, as far as Botswana.
What?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I'm curious to know, how did you go about creating that conversation or widening your reach? How did you go about that?
Just posting on Facebook, being active every day, making sure you wake up. If I open a bill, I take sample of, like for example, whatever I'm wearing. I'll take a photo and I'll be like, guys, you see, Mtumba is smart as well.
Yeah. You don't need so you were posting on Facebook?
Yes, I post on Facebook. I post. I encourage people. I call them for free trainings. They'll come when I'm opening bills at my shop, and I explain to them how to go about it. They become interested, and now I have like 90% of my clients are from online. I've never met them.
Wow.
Yes.
Look at that. Like it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to run a business and not have an online presence in this day and age. Doesn't matter what you're talking about, whether you're talking about secondhand clothes or books. You've got to have some kind of online presence. So Vincent, how's it been like? What's been the response when it comes to selling books online and interacting with your customers?
First and foremost, our main platform that we've chosen, as in from launch till now, is Twitter. Because basically, as in from our analysis, Twitter has the more mature crowd, the crowd that will be more into reading, and the crowd that will afford hard copy books. They're not very cheap, and that's why many people might opt to go for ebooks, not because they like reading ebooks, but because the price points are just way lower than what you get for the hard copy books.
Yeah.
So the response has been awesome, as in our business has, I think from the targets we had set for ourselves internally, we are basically getting more and more than what we anticipated. We are getting to learn a lot in terms of what people are reading, what Kenyans like to read.
Okay. And also, it's a great place to sort of put, get an idea.
We are getting some insights. For instance, we didn't expect that in our first quarter we'll be sending books outside the country. We deliver for free. Our delivery is free, as in our price is built in. So we deliver. Our main plan was to maybe 6-9 months, do only Nairobi and the outskirts. But what we've seen is, as far as Nyeri, Malindi, as in we've had. We are sending books, as in guys are calling and saying, you do this, I'll pay for the freight to Kisumu, I'll pay for the freight to Embu. Is turning out to be an interesting
Look
location.
At that. And I love that you're also promoting a reading culture.
Yeah, so
I'm curious to know, how have you dealt with, if you've even received it, but how have you dealt with any kind of frustrations or negative feedback from your clients? And maybe you could start with you, Grace.
One thing I would like to say that is very important in business, you have to accept criticism. If a client comes and says, Grace, this one I didn't like the service from your staff, you have to deal with it, and you have to. But if you're only taking the positive one, you'll never grow. So you have to learn. And I even happened one time to be unequal. That's what we call it on Facebook. Someone decided to just go on buyers beware. Mostly the competitors will do that because you see the social media is, and Facebook is wide. So if someone wants to spoil for you, they will go that extra mile, go with a pseudo account and post some. And what do? You don't go confronting them. I remember I just kept quiet and I was like, my dear, if we ever did whatever you are telling us, why don't you bring us some evidence? And that's how they went quiet. Which was actually good because many people got to know me to Chap and joined our group, and it grew. So you should allow it. If there is anything negative, someone comes and posts, just go and address it in public. Because I came in this public saying I'm selling this stuff, so why, when it's bad, I want us to go inbox or I want to call? We address it there, so even the others can follow. Because at some point it will be not me, it might be my staff, it also be the client, because not all the clients are the kings as they are called. So I believe in accepting it and dealing with it maturely and in public.
That's perfectly in line with what our previous guest was saying, and she's in the world of advertising and marketing, and she was saying you've got to address it one way or another in a very respectable manner, but still, address it. So it's perfectly in line. Have you found the same to be true for you, Vincent?
Yeah, I'll address it with an example, for instance. Yes, we've gotten criticism. We've gotten a few places we've sort of slipped up. One is a client whose book delayed on a Friday and she canceled the order. We addressed it, as in what we did. We called her back and gave her the book 50% off just to to appease her, and she accepted it, and now she's a good customer of ours. But I think what we need as online business, because of the sentiments that previously has been in the market, is that online businesses don't deliver. So it's something that we are trying to get rid of. And the beauty about reading is that we've read a lot about how these people have done it out there. Online business is all about trust. This person is not seeing you. You need to be trustworthy a step further, and that's why one of our models is you pay on delivery once you see it. So that is basically to build the trust and ensure that you're getting what you want. And once you see it, that's when you pay for it, and it's something that is essential to building the brand itself. Because at some point, yes, as in the clients who are used to it already, and they're saying, fine, I'll pay before because I know you guys have delivered twice, thrice. But initially, you need to build that trust. And there's a lot of fear in the market, and because of that fear, someone will cancel and think, yeah, I've done this before, and it will take 2 or 3 weeks. So when you call them 2 days later and tell them you'll get 50% off, it sort of wows them. And say, okay, maybe the game has changed.
Right. And it goes towards building that trust, and that becomes a part of your brand.
Yes, absolutely.
That, you know, I get it. It's frustrating, but I've got you.
So for a while, I know we need to build. We really need to break away from the tradition and the sentiment that has been in the market about online businesses, then create that brand that we are reliable, we are trustworthy, we deliver on what we say.
So let's talk about competition, because I mean, it's a part of life, it's a part of business, and especially like if we even focus on clothes and fashion, I mean, there's a wealth of options, and there's more and more shops coming up selling Tumba clothes. So how do you separate your brand from the rest?
First of all is that, as you were saying, the clients. I have to make sure my client comes today, she'll come back with another one, with a referral. How do you do that? Offer free training, mentor them, keep on checking on them. If a client has taken some clothes from you, because you see now I'm dealing in bills, if they have taken, follow up with them. They're like, oh, you know what, I'm stuck, I don't know who to sell to, they are not buying, I don't know, the economy is low. I'm like, let me show you. Join Facebook, go to this, whatever, like join the other pages. My platform alone, I have 314,000 members. So alone by posting there, you definitely get some clients. Okay, so I give them that. Now I give them a platform, a packet to also sell. And keep on encouraging them. It's like someone will come and tell you, I'm going to sell in a market. So you'll actually even direct them. Because there's no way you'll take clothes worth 10,000, you're going to sell at 5 bob, and someone else is already selling them at 2 bob. Okay, you have to take to actually even research the market, so even help them in researching different markets.
Okay, so your approach is a little different. It's not necessarily let me hide my secrets and keep them as mine, but here, let me show you how we thrive in this space together.
And that's what has built me to Chapter.
What? Yes. Wow. Yours is a little different in that you were saying there was no online space that's selling books.
There are a few, but I don't think there was one that was really ubiquitous, or as in has the level of presence and traction in the market to really make a buzz. Though there is competition, I know even the traditional online shops, the popular ones, are doing it. I will not talk about the reputation they've built in the market, but one thing, how do we differentiate ourselves? One, I don't know, you receive the book, the branding itself, and we have a bookmark. We ensure that we have accessorized the book for you. As in, it comes with a belly band. Once you're done, you can put it nicely on your shelf. So we've tried to make, we don't write the book, so our product is really how we brand it and how we deliver it to you. The other thing is we same-day delivery, which currently we are doing to 95% of our deliveries are on the same day. I remember that was quite an issue when we were starting, and we were sitting with my partner discussing with the staff that they sort of pushed back and said, maybe we need to promise 4 days. And we said, no, this can be done within a day. As in, why can't it be done within a day? And they mentioned the traditional guys who deliver them. Maybe we do it next day. They said, no. Because I think Kenyans have sort of, sorry to say this, accepted mediocrity when it comes to online shopping. We accept 4-day delivery. And 4 day, it takes a package to come from London to Nairobi in 4 days. So why should it take
for the
it should
same
take
amount
4
of
hours
time.
to get to your office.
I hear you.
So that's what we strive to do. So
Okay.
that's how we plan to differentiate ourselves.
Yeah.
Get you that instant gratification. If you show the book that you have to your colleague and she wants it now, she needs to order it from Rafu Books, and it gets to the office before she gets home. So, so that's, I think that's how we try to differentiate branding, and our product is actually delivering on time.
Right.
Yeah.
So last question to both of you. What would be your tips for someone who's looking to join social media and promote their brand or business or product or even themselves as the brand? What tip do you have when it comes to using social media to do this?
You have to be genuine, because once you start with lies, that's where the trust goes.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to be trusted. If you know you can deliver, just be genuine.
Be genuine.
Because unfortunately, we have so many greedy people. Just because this person has this cash right now, I'll tell you I have it. I'll deliver it by tomorrow. But you don't even have it. So you are getting that money, because most of the times you find that you are receiving the money even before the delivery. Then you are like running around, and the client will start calling you, you will not pick because you've not delivered. So just be genuine. If you don't have, I don't have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I think I'll just echo what she said. Number one, of course, is online. It's easy to push your brand online to get a wide audience. It's much easier than it was with traditional TV, which we are on now. So it's anybody can do it, as in from your living room, from your bedroom. But once you get that audience, it goes back to what she said, as in that one person that you get first, she or he has given you their trust. You'd better give it back, because then it will build your business. Right. So the business is built online, but it's actually it built a traditional relationship way, how you talk to them, how you interact with them, how much you respect their money.
So you have to be consistent.
So once you get the audience, then Sharon buys from you, then I start giving Sharon a runaround for a week.
Never coming back, I'll
3
tell
months
you
down
that.
the road, your business will. So
and it'll go, and it'll spread as quickly as, when people are saying great things, when you start saying bad things, it even spreads faster.
It spreads much faster.
Internet never forgets.
Ooh, Lord, it doesn't.
It never forgets.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your tips and how you've been able to build your brand, and the things that worked and the things that didn't. Thank you both.
Thank you for hosting
Thanks,
us.
Sharon.
Oh, an
Thanks for
absolute
hosting.
pleasure, really, truly. And thank you for the book, too. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I did and learned a lot about branding, whether you've got a product that you're trying to put out there, or maybe the brand is you. So now you know the things that you ought to do and the things that you need to just stop doing. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow, same time. And thank you to Park Inn by Radisson for offering us this beautiful space to shoot from. Have a great rest of the day, everybody. Keep it locked on NTV. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.